Hello, my name is Shifla Combs, and I will be presenting the research that I did on the spotted hyenas, also known by their scientific name, Crocuta. The spotted hyenas are the largest of the three types of hyenas currently, and the other species are known as the brown hyena and the striped hyena. The spotted hyenas live in Central, West, and South Africa, and they live in clans of 80 to 100. The females are the most dominant of the between the male and the female, and actually the fact that the female is more dominant makes sense because the female hyena is actually larger in size than the male hyenas. They are known to be hunters and scavengers. Most people know them as scavengers, but they're actually more amazing hunters than scavengers. The adaptation of the spotted hyenas. They are good at hearing and other skills such as night vision. So they are adaptive to both daytime and nighttime. They hunt both times. And their digestive systems are actually great because their stomachs are able to digest everything. And that's where their scavenger senses come in. They can eat bones, huffs, skin, anything that's there, they can eat. They also adapt to different environments. They can either live in the savannas, they can live in the mountains, the forests, the mountains as well, and they can run long distances. That's also part of their great skills as hunters. They run towards their prey, and if their preys are larger than them, they can run as fast as they can. The protein that I found in my research, which I'll actually switch to my next my protein alignment here, this research that I did is the interferon gamma. And the interferon gamma, which was found in the hyenas and species similar to the hyenas, are actually a protein that is released by killer cells. So the immune system, it's actually produced within the stem cells and the bone marrow, and it is released when it either senses an infectious disease or cancerous cells. And even though it has a positive effect, which is to attack infectious diseases or cancerous cells, it's also a negative effect, which it can affect and attack the actual body of the species, and it can actually kill these organs and this tissue cells. The ecosystem, when it comes to the spotted hyenas, they can either be a predator or a consumer. When it comes to being a predator, the spotted hyenas are actually known to be very successful hunters because they little be known to everyone who thinks hyenas are not as smart. They're actually very intelligent, and they trick their prey because they actually become friends with them or pretend to be friends with them, and instead they're wanting to kill them, and they create bonds with them. When it comes to carcasses, the hyenas are actually, they team up with lions to actually kill other animals, and then they share carcasses with the hyenas. When it comes to their consumer part of it, that's where their scavenger like behavior comes in, and they actually can eat or survive off of anything around them, including things that plants, they either fish, they can live off of insects. They are just very adaptive to their environment. The phylogenetic tree that I came up with, here is my image of the phylogenetic tree. I've actually, the phylogenetic tree is basically a branch diagram, or a tree like diagram, basically showing the evolutionary relationship among various biological species based on their similarities or differences that their physical or generic characteristics. And in my phylogenetic tree or my research that I did, these are the animals that I chose within the phylogenetic tree. And it comes to show that the wild boar, the common warhog, and the red fox and the meerkat were more closely related to the spotted hyena. And then below, I have the armadillo, the lemur, the groundhog, the pangolin, and the orc are most distantly related to the spotted hyenas. Density dependent. So the spotted hyenas are actually density dependent and not density independent. And this is because the hyena population, when it comes to southern Africa, they're actually in a protected area. So they're not being basically affected or declining in regards to human behavior. But the western and eastern Africa, they do have protected areas and unprotected areas. And in the unprotected areas, humans are shooting them, snaring them, trapping, and poisoning them. And this affect which humans affect, which affect the decline in their their population. There is a decline as well in their habitat, and so that in sense contradicts that it is a density dependent. Hyenas are considered a part of the Ka selective species because in the Ka selective species, the animals produce later in age. So, in a sense of they are older in producing, they don't produce as many cubs or they don't produce as much in a year. They also spend more time rearing their cubs. When it comes to the spotted hyenas, they actually give birth in dens by themselves and then they move their young to a commutative den where there's other spotted female hyenas, sorry, that are also rearing or bringing up their young. When it comes to how old they are when they are maiden, they start about 2 to 5 years old when it comes to the point in which they start mating. And then also it reaches over a year where they are milking off of their mother, and then they're let into the wild after about a year and a half. In conclusion, basically, the spotted hyenas are basically a add like an addition to the ecosystem because they actually prevent illnesses both in humans and in animals. And then also they they add where it comes to the population and making sure that there's not too many illnesses within the population. And then when it comes to raising their young, they spend more time, they're very intelligent. And that's pretty much it for my research. And hopefully, the information that I've piled into this PowerPoint is very helpful and resourceful to your viewing.